A friend of mine asked me how to give her ideas on how to make pastina soup. In Italy, usually is served with blended vegetable soup, chicken broth, or the classical chicken soup. This meal is served to the elderly, babies, or little kids because the pasta is really tiny, and here is where the name comes from. Pastina means tiny pasta. So it's very easy to eat and to swallow. Of course, everybody can enjoy a good bowl of pastina soup. It's one of the timeless comfort food. If you want to know how I make it, just keep watching. There are many types of pastina. Here I have the stelline, which means little stars, and these are the most common ones. And then I have acini di pepe, which means grain of pepper. This type of pasta, it's given to the elderly and to the babies because it's very easy to eat and to swallow. Of course, if you cannot find it, you can always get some spaghetti and just cut the tiny pieces. It's a little bit of work, but if you cannot find it, the spaghetti can work too and become a type of pastina. I'm going to start by making the blended vegetable soup. These are all the veggies that I'm going to need. You can omit or decrease the garlic if you don't like the strong taste. On low heat, I heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil. While the oil is heating up, I am going to clean and dice all the vegetables. When the oil is ready on medium heat, I am going to saute celery, carrots, and onion. While these vegetables are cooking, I am going to finish cleaning and chopping all the rest of the vegetables. I add the garlic after I remove the core on both of them. And as I was saying before, the garlic can be completely omitted. When the vegetables are nice and translucent, I am going to add the zucchina, the leek, and the chopped potatoes. I mix the vegetables together and then I add half a teaspoon of black pepper and 1 teaspoon of salt. I mix everything together and then I add the water. I had 5 cups of water. I close the lid and I cook it on high for 20 minutes. The soup can be cooked on the stove on medium for 35 minutes or until the veggies are tender. After letting the steam out, I reach the right balance between the liquid and the vegetables. The soup is not too thick or too runny, and this is good because it will help me in the blending process. I blend the soup in multiple batches. If you have an immersion blender, you can use that too. Actually, it's much easier. Unfortunately, I cannot find mine, so I have to use a regular blender. At this point, the soup is done, so I put it back in the Instant Pot and I just keep it warm. In the meanwhile, I cook the stelline pasta separately, and I do it separately so I don't ruin the soup consistency. I cook the pastina following the directions on the bag. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. When the stelline are ready, I am going to mix them into the soup, and I am going to add a generous dose of Parmesan cheese, and as a last step, a good sprinkle of chopped parsley. Here is how I make my chicken soup / broth. Of course, the garlic can be omitted. And I use chicken drumsticks because they are meaty and frankly they are quite cheap. I washed and chopped all my vegetables. I just left my onion cut in half, and I did it because my daughter, she doesn't like it, so I'll do anything as long as she eats the soup. I'm adding the chicken and 2 bay leaves. I'm gonna add 10 whole peppercorns, 6 cups of water, and half a tablespoon of ground coarse salt. Then I am going to close the lid and I am going to cook it on high for an hour. After opening the valve, I remove the lid and I start skimming the peppercorns, the bay leaves, or any chicken residue like fat or cooked blood. And of course, in my case, I need to even remove the onions. I put the chicken on a plate and I start to shred it, removing all the cartilage, all the fat, the teeny tiny bones, and I saved all the meat. After I collected all the meat, I am going to put it back with the rest of the soup. Chicken soup stays as it is with the meat and the rest of the ingredients. The broth is simply the chicken soup liquid part that has been strained. Even in this case, the pasta is being cooked separately and added at the end. And of course, remember to add parmesan and parsley. These are 3 ways to eat pastina soup. Of course, I would never give chopped parsley to a baby, but I will definitely use some Parmesan cheese. The soups are not only for babies or elderly people, but even for whoever wants or needs a good bowl of comfort food. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching.